You are not a random target. That is the part nobody tells you. We talk endlessly about narcissists, what they do, how they manipulate, why they destroy relationships, but we almost never talk about the other side of the equation. Why you? Not the person next to you. Not someone easier to control, someone less aware, someone more gullible. You. Because here is the uncomfortable truth that changes everything. Narcissists do not choose victims randomly. They choose deliberately. They choose carefully. And the qualities that made you their target, the things they spotted in you within minutes of meeting you, are not your weaknesses. They are your strengths. And once you understand exactly what they saw in you, you will never look at yourself, or them, the same way again. Most content about narcissism focuses on the narcissist, their behavior, their patterns, their disorder. This video is different. This video is about you, specifically the psychological profile that makes certain people a primary target for narcissistic individuals, not because there is something wrong with you, but because there is something in you that a narcissist finds irresistible, something they need, something they recognize, and something they will exploit the moment they find it. By the end of this video, you will understand exactly what that is. You will understand why it keeps happening. And most importantly, you will understand how to stop being the person they find. Let's get into it. Narcissists are not impulsive when it comes to choosing people. Research by psychologist Ramani Durvasula, one of the leading clinical experts on narcissistic personality disorder, describes narcissists as highly efficient scanners. In social situations, they are constantly reading the room, assessing, filtering. What they are looking for is what psychologists call narcissistic supply. This is the term for the attention, admiration, validation, and emotional energy that a narcissist requires to function. It is not a metaphor. Clinically, narcissistic supply is to a narcissist what fuel is to an engine. Without it, the entire personality structure begins to collapse. So when a narcissist enters a room, a party, a workplace, a dating app, they are not looking for just anyone. They are looking for the highest quality supply available. And quality in their assessment means specific things. They look for warmth, someone who is visibly kind, attentive, and responsive to others. Because a warm person will be responsive to them. They look for empathy, someone who listens deeply, who tries to understand, who gives people the benefit of the doubt. Because an empathic person will make endless excuses for their behavior. They look for loyalty, someone who does not give up on people easily. Because a loyal person will stay long after they should have left. They look for someone with a strong sense of responsibility, someone who, when things go wrong, will look inward and ask what they did to cause it. Notice anything about that list? Every single quality they are hunting for is a virtue, not a flaw, a virtue. That is what makes this so insidious and so important to understand. So what does this selection process actually look like in real life? Because it does not feel like being hunted. It feels like being chosen. You might recognize it in the person who seemed to really see you within days of meeting, who remembered every detail you mentioned, who made you feel like the most interesting, most beautiful, most understood person in the room. That was not coincidence. That was a narcissist completing their assessment and deciding you were worth pursuing. You might recognize it in the workplace, where the most toxic manager or colleague always seems to zero in on the most conscientious member of the team, the one who cares most about doing a good job, the one who will work late, cover mistakes, and absorb blame rather than cause conflict. That person is not targeted because they are weak. They are targeted because they are the most reliable source of effort, output, and emotional stability in the room. You might recognize it in the family dynamic, where the most empathic child in a narcissistic household becomes what psychologists call the empath child, the one who manages the parents' emotions, who makes themselves small to keep the peace, who grows up believing that love requires sacrifice of self. Or you might recognize it in a pattern across multiple relationships, different people, different contexts, but somehow the same dynamic keeps appearing. That pattern is not bad luck. It is not a coincidence. It is a signal that something in how you present yourself, your openness, your empathy, your willingness to give, is being read by a very specific type of person as an open door. Here is the layer that most people never reach, and it is the most important one. Why do certain people become high-value targets for narcissists repeatedly across their lives? The answer, according to developmental psychologist John Bowlby and decades of attachment research, almost always traces back to early attachment experiences. Children who grow up with a parent or caregiver who is emotionally inconsistent, sometimes warm and present, sometimes cold, absent, or critical, develop what is called anxious attachment. These children learn that love is unpredictable, that affection has to be earned, that the right combination of behavior being helpful enough, agreeable enough, invisible enough, might finally produce the consistent love they need. They carry that blueprint into adulthood. And when a narcissist arrives offering intense, overwhelming attention in the early stages, it does not feel dangerous. It feels like home. It activates the same neural reward pathway that the inconsistent parent once activated. The same hope, the same longing, the same belief that if you just try hard enough, the love will finally be consistent. Dr. Judy Faber, a clinical psychologist specializing in narcissistic abuse recovery, describes it as the familiar feeling becoming the attraction itself. Not because the relationship is healthy, but because the nervous system recognizes the pattern. Here is the myth this destroys, that people who repeatedly end up with narcissists have low self-esteem or are broken. The research says otherwise. Many targets of narcissistic abuse score high on measures of empathy, conscientiousness, and emotional intelligence. They are not broken, they are running on an old map, and maps can be redrawn. Here is what I need you to hear. The fact that a narcissist chose you is not a verdict on your worth. It is evidence of it. They did not choose you because you were easy. They chose you because you were exceptional in empathy, in warmth, in your capacity to love. They identified qualities in you that most people spend their whole lives trying to develop. And then they tried to consume them. The problem was never your goodness. The problem was the absence of a boundary around it. Empathy without limits becomes a resource for those who cannot generate their own. Loyalty without discernment becomes a cage. Love without standards becomes a supply chain. You do not need to become cold. You do not need to become guarded. You do not need to become less. You need to become selective, because the same qualities that made you their target will make you extraordinary to someone who actually deserves them. Here is what you can actually do starting today. Number 1. Learn your own attachment style. If you have not already, look up the anxious attachment profile and read it honestly. Understanding why certain people feel magnetic to you even when they are not good for you is the first step to interrupting the pattern. Awareness is not a cure, but it is the door. Number 2. Slow down the beginning. Narcissists rely on speed, the fast intimacy, the intense early connection, the rushing of stages. This is the mechanism. A simple rule: if a relationship feels like it is moving faster than feels comfortable, it probably is. Healthy love can afford to be slow. It does not need to rush. Number 3. Notice how you feel in the days after spending time with someone. Not during, after. Do you feel energized or drained? Clearer or more confused? More like yourself or less? Your nervous system knows. Start listening to it. You were not chosen because you were broken. You were chosen because you were bright, and someone decided to use that light for themselves. That ends when you decide it ends. Now I want to hear from you, and I mean this genuinely. In the comments below, tell me, which of the 4 traits we talked about, warmth, empathy, loyalty, or that deep sense of responsibility, do you think made you a target? Just one word is enough, because understanding which door they used is how you finally learn to lock it. Subscribe, and next week we are going deep into the psychology of why you stay long after you already know you should leave. See you then.